So I wanted to ask for what the Secretary General, if he has any comment on the election of Venezuela, Malaysia, Angola, and New Zealand to seats on the Security Council, the runoff now between Spain and Turkey. And I just procedurally, I wanted to ask you, what was the thinking of in the middle of that vote, particularly the runoff, as the results were being announced, having that stakeout? Is there what's the higher kind of protocol in the UN between GA,
I think, as we've often said, the UN building is sometimes akin to a Ringling Barnum Brothers three-ring circus. A lot of things are happening at a different time. The Secretary General's schedule was such that this was the only time he could do it. I was keen to have him speak to the press upon return, and I'm aware of the challenges, but that's why things are webcast and stored, and I know it doesn't make it easier for journalists who cover the UN to have these things done simultaneously, but that's it.
I'm asking just, there were actually some diplomats that said that there is a kind of an unstated protocol of the various organs, whatever. But what about commenting on the actual results and his new partners on the Security Council?
He obviously welcomes the elections of the four new members. Looks forward to working with them, and we await the sovereign decision of member states as to who the fifth member will be.
Thank you. Matthew?
Matthew Lee, Intercity Press, on behalf of the Free UN Coalition for Access. Thanks for the briefing. Since Spain has just won a Security Council seat, I'm going to start with an EU question. And the EU Commissioner of Budget had said, as to the Sahel, that, quote, some projects in the Sahel region of Africa have been postponed due to EU funding declines. So I wanted to know, I would assume that as the coordinator, can you say, what is it true overall that it's declined, and what projects in particular have been canceled? And I also wanted to know how your work has either continues or doesn't to work with this Sahel strategy that was propounded by Romano Prodi and is now headed and is not based in the Sahel. There was some controversy. One of the member states, Chad, said that it should actually be based in one of the 5 countries that it covers, but it wasn't. What do you say to that, and how do you work with it? Is it a useful tool to look at the strategy, including counterterrorism and humanitarian issues? Thanks.
Thank you. I think this is Ms. Georgieva on the EU side, who's about to become the Vice President for Budget. Yeah, she's previously the head of the humanitarian part of the EU. What she said, quite correctly, is that some projects have been postponed.